Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at Anthropic. It's a $965 billion AI juggernaut that finds itself right at the center of the world's most terrifying paradox. They are building technology so unimaginably powerful that it could either usher in a global utopia or literally tear the world apart. Okay, let's dive right into this. Because Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, recently made a truly staggering prediction. He said there is roughly a 10 to 25% chance of civilization collapse. Now, keep in mind, that isn't coming from some science fiction writer. That is coming directly from the leader of one of the most powerful AI companies on Earth. He describes this exact moment in AI development as a smooth exponential. The experience of a smooth exponential is that it feels like nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, maybe just little things here and there, and then zoom! Everything goes completely crazy all at once. And right now, we are hitting that zoom.
Section 1, the Breakaway AI Juggernaut. So how did we actually get to this critical moment? Guiding Anthropic through this exponential explosion is a sibling duo. Dario, the visionary brother with these swirling cosmic thoughts, and Daniela, the operator sister, who translates those big ideas into action. Together, they've really positioned themselves as the unlikely good guys of Silicon Valley.
And the trajectory of this sibling duo has been just incredibly rapid. Back in 2016, Dario and Daniela joined OpenAI. But by 2021, they defected. Dario explains that, look, when you feel you can't trust the people you work with, and when you feel their values just aren't what they claim to be, the only real way to resolve that is to go off and do your own thing. So they left to build Anthropic. Fast forward to today, and they've reached a near $1 trillion valuation. And what's really remarkable is that all 7 original co-founders, the same people who sat on the grass at Presida Park during the pandemic mapping out their vision, are all still at the company today.
Section 2, teaching AI to be good. Because this is, at its core, a moral crusade. Anthropic's entire premise is based on creating an impossibly powerful technology that is carefully, intentionally steered to actually benefit humanity. But how do you program morality?
Well, they do it through something they call constitutional AI. This means they're literally training their AI model's character using foundational human documents, things like the UN Declaration of Human Rights, to ensure it remains strictly helpful and harmless. They've even consulted religious leaders to help bake in these transcendent human values. This constitution gives their chatbot, Claude, a very distinct tone that they describe as professional warmth. It's approachable but a little distant. And most importantly, it is hard-coded to avoid hallucinations or making things up and to strictly prevent the model from purposely trying to deceive you.
And this brilliantly illustrates their overarching business philosophy, the stark difference between enterprise AI and consumer AI. Anthropic made a very deliberate choice to focus on values-aligned business tools rather than those splashy consumer apps. Why? Well, because the consumer AI world is largely driven by advertising revenue, so it often prioritizes engagement, addiction, and what Amodei bluntly calls slop, like those random AI video models. Enterprise AI, on the other hand, that's about working with biotech to cure diseases, or working to make energy cheaper and way more efficient.
Section 3, the White-Collar Wipeout. Because, as you'll see, those incredibly good intentions have some very sharp edges. We need to talk directly about your career leverage right now, because Anthropic's aggressive pursuit of efficiency is rapidly creating some pretty brutal macroeconomic realities.
$285 billion. That is the massive chunk of market value that just vanished overnight in the software sector, an event traders terrifyingly dubbed the SASPocalypse. And this wipeout happened the exact moment Anthropic released their major business tools, Claude Cowork and Claude Code, which essentially automated massive chunks of traditional software engineering.
The sheer scale of the disruption we are facing here is honestly shocking. Dario Amodei has warned that AI could eliminate half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in just the next 1 to 5 years. Half! And it's already happening inside their own walls. Anthropic engineer Boris Cherny recently admitted that Claude has been writing literally 100% of his code for months now. He describes the feeling as having a jetpack, with up to a few thousand instances of Claude running tasks for him simultaneously.
So, what does this all mean for the future of work?
Well, based on Anthropic's predictions, we are heading toward a highly unusual economy, one featuring extremely fast GDP growth right alongside high unemployment. Jobs in physical manufacturing, those remain highly viable. Same goes for human-centered care roles. Why? Because while an AI can perfectly diagnose your illness, it can't physically examine you or provide that essential bedside manner. The human-to-human interaction suddenly becomes the premium. Meanwhile, entry-level white-collar viability absolutely plummets. Section 4. AI on the battlefield. Because this rapid expansion of capability definitely doesn't stop at the office door. This is the highly charged geopolitical arena where Anthropic's pristine, utopian ideals violently clash with the messy, brutal reality of global warfare. It raises a massive, really uncomfortable ethical question. Does a commercial entity have the right to dictate how the military uses its products? The facts here are complex. Anthropic won a $200 million contract with the Pentagon. Subsequently, their model, Claude, was reportedly used by the U.S. military via a platform made by Palantir in an operation to seize Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. There was also a ton of controversy surrounding AI-assisted targeting in a tragic strike in Iran. Now, while Anthropic states that specific use case didn't violate their guidelines, it forces a deeply uncomfortable conversation about technology acting as a shortcut in war. To try and navigate this incredibly complex arena, Anthropic drew what they call their unbreakable red lines. They absolutely forbid their AI from being used for mass surveillance or autonomous weapons, and they strictly demand that a human must make the final call. But enforcing those rules, that had explosive consequences. The Department of Defense essentially demanded full use of the AI without guardrails. When Anthropic refused, they were blacklisted from the Pentagon. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and President Trump even publicly labeled Anthropic's leadership an ideological lunatic. But for Anthropic, this wasn't just a fight. It was a completely necessary debate to establish real precedents for this emerging technology. Section 5. The Superweapon Dilemma. This is really the ultimate paradox of this entire explainer. Because lurking in the background of all these public battles was Project Glasswing, the creation of a highly secret model. That secret model was named Mythos, and it is a cybersecurity model so terrifyingly powerful that early testers literally pleaded with Anthropic not to release it. They likened it to handing everyone on Earth a nuclear bazooka. Mythos identified thousands of vulnerabilities, finding fatal flaws in every major operating system. If fully released, it could potentially hack banks, pry open state secrets, and completely cripple critical infrastructure. So, to keep it out of the wrong hands, Anthropic made the call not to release it publicly, absorbing massive commercial losses in the process. So, the crucial point here is this seemingly inescapable cycle. 1. The good guys build tools to defend. 2. The bad guys inevitably acquire them. And 3. The good guys must build even more dangerous tools just to stay ahead. It's a relentless cat-and-mouse game driving a massive AI arms race. National security agencies completely clamored for access to Mythos, and the White House, which initially favored a more hands-off, deregulatory approach, suddenly realized, oh wow, we need to step in and gatekeep this immense power. Which circles us right back to our terrifying opening statistic, 10% to 25%. That is the calculated risk of civilizational collapse. Amodei compares it to boarding an incredibly unsafe airline. Think about it. Even if Anthropic builds the safest airplane in the industry, the sheer existence of this technology, spread across multiple competing countries and companies, means the risk of a global crash is profoundly real. A 25% chance of a plane crashing means you simply wouldn't get on that plane. But as a society, we're already in the air. Because of all this, it's no surprise that people compare Amodei to J. Robert Oppenheimer all the time. But Amodei actively rejects that comparison. He sees Oppenheimer as a failure case of a larger-than-life figure trying to just control everything alone. Instead, he says, the figure I most identified with was Leo Szilard, who first had the idea that there could be a chain reaction. Szilard recognized that a single person simply can't stop the reaction once it starts. Amodei believes that only systemic, widespread checks and balances across all of society can truly keep us safe. And that leaves us with a final, truly inescapable question. If the only way to stop a dangerous AI in the future is by building an even more powerful, potentially dangerous one today, who do we trust to build it? Can an idealistic sibling duo who ultimately just want to take a weekend off and relax with their horse in Italy, can they truly control the exponential explosion they've helped spark? It is a fascinating question and one we're all going to have to answer together very soon. Thanks for watching this explainer, and keep learning.